Yo, what's good? I'm excited for today. I'm excited for a very good reason. And it's around the topic of being able to get clients. But I want to talk about it from a perspective of not having to get DMs. Every how to do cold DMs. Everybody wants to get clients without having to send out and spam people with a bunch of words that they don't want, right? So how do we get clients without having to spam people and without having to do a cold? And once I struggled with this at first. My first few years, I've been doing this since 2015, but over the last 10 years, I realized I've been able to get hundreds of clients because I figured out the right way on how to engage with people on social media to where they thank me and they become clients, and then they actually get a chance to launch their coaching businesses and be, at the end of the day, further after working with me than before working with me. And that's one of the major goals that I have for folks, is being able to get them up, get them going, get them launched, get clients, make money, or just move forward because they've received some type of benefit of working with me than not. And that's what today is. So I'm actually going to get ready to share my screen and then walk you through a few different strategies on this. But that's really what we're going to talk about, is like how to actually get clients without spamming people on social media. So this became very clear to me after I decided that, hey, you know what, let me go all in and let me take this serious. But I did what a lot of folks do, which was being random. So if you ever find yourself on social media, let me ask you this. Have you ever woke up one day, or you said, you know what, I'm working my business, and then you just decided to do anything that you felt like doing? It's like, oh, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should create this lead magnet. Maybe I should put out this piece of content, should do this video. I should research this thing. And you didn't really have a plan. It was just like, I think I should do this. I think this is a good thing to do. So you decided to just do something random, but then you look up years, weeks, or months later, and your business hasn't really changed. You haven't really got that many more clients. You really haven't got anybody to take to make the investment. You're basically in the same place. So you've been treading water, and that's what I want you to avoid. So that's the big pieces. So I'm gonna walk you through. I'm gonna walk you through something important, so what you need to do to actually change this. All right. So I call this the lead flow formula. The lead flow formula, and this is what you need to do to actually attract your clients online without spamming them or having to do cold DMs, right? So here's a couple different strategies you can use, and I'll give you nuggets along the way. So the first is what I call the 25-5-1 formula. This is basically, you're going to be doing comments, you're going to be doing direct messages, and your goal is to book an appointment. When you don't already have a list of potential clients to follow up with, typically I would say go there first. People who may not have been ready over the last year, and then you follow back up with them and see where they're at. If you don't necessarily have that list, you can actually create new conversations online. And you can create these new conversations online by engaging with other people's content through the comments. When you do that, that puts you, now go from somebody who was completely cold to now you look familiar. Oh, wow. Now you gave me a valuable comment. Wow. You must have some type of expertise, experience, or education that I don't have. Well, you have some insights that I feel like could be valuable. Now, because you've given, it's more likely that they're willing to engage in a conversation with you. And you do that enough times in a day, then you'll get people who will respond. And then that opens up the door for a private messaging conversation in a way that doesn't feel spammy, in a way where they're no longer cold, because now they're warm because you engaged in conversation publicly already. So right, they probably already looked through your profile. They saw that you were legit. Hopefully you've been posting content. So it makes it a lot easier. So that's one strategy. Another, you could do following people online. And that gives you the ability to, when they follow you back, to initiate in a conversation. I remember I had this messed my Instagram account up years ago, and I had a virtual assistant, and I had them go, and I said, listen, make sure you go follow people first that are coaches, and then we initiate the conversation. And they went out and basically ignored the first part and just started sending out messages. So, so it messed up and sort of shadow banned my my account. So, so it kind of messed me up from that standpoint. But the method works. Just make sure that you're following people first, so the algorithm can know, and so they know who you are. And so when you initiate that conversation, hey, I appreciate the follow, and then you can initiate conversations from there. And your goal of all of this, in order to get clients, is actually not to get clients initially. Your goal is to schedule an appointment to meet with them, so you can build rapport and really see if you can help them. That's the idea. Third, you can go live. I love going live. Is one of, especially if you have a natural inclination to talk to people, and you're the type of person that you like to share information, and it's easier for you to do it through speaking or through video, and you can communicate yourself better this way. You should be going live more often. So that's a good way. You got lead magnet posts. What I call a lead magnet post is you have something that you're giving away, and you could literally just straight say, hey, I'm giving this thing away. I'm giving this ebook away. I'm giving this course away. I'm giving this community away. And then that you'll have people that say, hey, I'm willing to learn about that. I'm willing to look more into doing that. So you want to make sure you're doing that. That's very helpful. You got appointment posts, where this is literally where you flat out just say, yo, I got a few spots open this week. I want to coach a couple of people for free and help you out with whatever your biggest question is. Drop something in the comments, send me a DM, go to the site to schedule a time. This is where you'll be more direct with what you want people to do. You got stages. Stages is your ability to speak in front of an audience. So whether it's your own audience or whether it's somebody else's audience, it's one to many speaking. It could be on a real stage in front of it's not everything is a real audience, but in front of physically on a physical stage, or it could be virtual. It could be on a virtual stage. It could be a summit. It could be some challenge that somebody has brought you on as a guest speaker on. And here's what I've learned, and this is for my people who don't feel comfortable speaking on video or going live and doing those type of things. Realize that you have the expertise already. And it's not the fact that you're afraid to do it. You're more afraid of the judgment that's going to come from it if you make a mistake or if you look silly. So here's the big thing about this is you have the expertise and the experience to help people. And I'm going to tell you one of my biggest lessons that I've learned with this. So this is coming from my new book. It's called Get a Rush of Leads Who Buy. And on page 3, I talk about, no, actually it's chapter 3. So on chapter 3, I talk about being afraid. I talk about being afraid to put yourself out there, right? So I want to read this because I think this is important. And I say, when I started my coaching business in 2015, I was scared to make videos. I thought people would judge me. So I stayed quiet and tried to build it in the background. And the truth is, nobody noticed me. Then things finally changed when I made a video with a simple hook. Are you scared of chasing clients every single day? That one line made people stop, listen, and reach out. So here's the big thing. The takeaway from that is so I ended up getting on a call with somebody, and I was saying, hey, what did you think about my training? What did you think about the live? And they were like, no, it was great. Like, I got a lot of information from it. No, I really thank you because the advice you gave me was valuable. And I said, valuable? I mean, you really enjoyed this. Yeah, it was really great. And it clicked in my mind like, oh, you know what? People are finding it valuable. Don't worry about the likes. Don't worry about the comments and shares and all of that. That'll come over time. And then, by the way, 9 times out of 10, if you're in a niche business, or if you have a niche topic, people are naturally most people are naturally not going to, I don't want to say be attracted to it, but it's not what they need, right? If I'm speaking, if I have, for example, content and I'm only talking, this is an extreme example, but if I have content and I'm only talking to billionaires. Well, I mean, it ain't that many billionaires. So I'm talking to a very niche audience. So most people is going to feel like it's not relevant to them, right? Which is not a good or bad thing. It's just that's the nature of what we do, especially in the culture industry, right? So you just got to realize that you're not going to get as much likes and views as somebody who's a comedian or somebody who's doing something that's more entertaining. That's just what it is. More people are willing to laugh and be entertained than this specific topic, right? So I know for me, everybody ain't in the business. And then even under business, I focus on coaching. So that's like 2 levels deep. So most people is not, they, unless they're really in the business and they see how they can apply what I'm talking about to their business, but they're not a coach. And I do get some people like that. But just because that particular niche of who I'm focused on, I know it's not going to get a bunch of likes or views or comments, and that's cool. As I get bigger and as I open up my niche, yeah, it can happen. Then it could, Alex Hormozi is, who's the owner of the $100 million series. He gets more views, likes, comments today than he did when he was just focusing on a gym niche, right? When he was owning gyms and working with gym owners. Why? Because now he opened up his content, is more to business owners in general, and he has a bigger brand. So of course he's going to get more now than he did 6 years ago when he was talking to gyms. So that's just the nature of what it is. But that doesn't mean you go there and you start wide. That just means that, you got to talk to your people, and then over time, you widen it up. But so you got to understand where you're at in the journey. But I mentioned that to say is like, don't let that deter you, that your message isn't powerful, that you can't help people, because the few people who do see it are the people that's going to be like, yo, I'm on board with you. I like it. I'm rocking with you. And that's what it is. So I got a lot of good information in. So if you want to get my new book, this has like $150,000 worth of just marketing and advertising lessons in it. So if you want access to this, literally just go ahead and put leads in the comment, put leads. And then I'll make sure that I'll send you the access to be able to download this. So a lot of big lessons. All right, so let's go back here. And so that's stages. You got launches or relaunches, right? So these launches and relaunches is literally what it is. It's like you get a bunch of people excited about, hey, I'm coming out with these new features, or I'm upgrading my program or whatever. So you're doing a launch. A lot of people may do that quarterly or annually. Webinars and Zooms is a good way to attract new clients. So you got a webinar, you got a Zoom. Like just, you should be doing that at least monthly, where you're doing something face to face with your audience. It's how you're going to build more trust and credibility. You got challenges. We see people do this all of the time, where you're working with people for a certain amount of time and you're helping them get to a very specific outcome. Trust builds quickly, credibility builds quickly, and you're helping people, so they're going to be more willing to want to work with you. And then, of course, my favorite way to be able to attract new clients is paid ads, right? So Facebook, Instagram. The reason I like this method so much is because it does not require me. It does not require you. You could go on vacation. If you get sick, if you got to take care of a loved one, if you can't consistently do the advertising and marketing every day for some reason, you don't want to be the bottleneck of your business. I hear people so many times, I'll get on calls with them and they'll be like, yo, I said, so all right, so what's the problem? Why is your business, building or growing the way you want to grow? Why you're not getting clients? They'll say, oh, because it's just me. I'm just in my own way. And you'd be surprised how much I hear that. I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing where you could take yourself out of the way and so it could work automatically? And that's where you want to be. And this is why I like the paid ads route when it comes to that. So, yeah, these are the strategies, and you want to be able to consistently lock in on these, because this is what's going to allow you to make the impact that you want to make. And so there's no need to be afraid of AI. AI is one of the things that you can use to leverage in order to get more things done or make a better experience. And Tony Robbins says something that I agree with. He said, you're not going to lose your job to AI, or you lose your business to AI. You're going to lose your business to people who know how to utilize it, right? So, when it comes to any clients, I do want you to also keep in mind that how could you leverage some of these AI technologies in order to continue to get in front of more people and make the experience better, because you know you can also get referrals and people will work with you longer, etc. So these are some of the cutting edge things that I'm also teaching our members inside of our program, is how to continue to level up from that standpoint. Utilize these strategies that I talked about today in order to get more clients. Slow motion is better than no motion. Let's work.